So, congratulations, you've just been born into luxury. Golden cradle, silk sheets, servants fanning you with palm leaves. Sounds divine, right? Except surprise, you've also been born into a 24/7 political pressure cooker, where your every sneeze determines the empire's mood. You're a prince of Egypt, which means you're not a person. You're a walking symbol, a soon-to-be pharaoh in training, and a full-time public relations project for the gods you might not even believe in. People worship you, yes, but they also secretly hope you don't outshine your father. You're beloved by the gods, yet also replaceable if you cough too loud. And childhood? Forget playing in the mud that's for peasants. You're stuck memorizing hymns, being weighed against sacred animals, and learning how to stand still for portraits that take longer than your actual attention span. The servants bow, the priests chant, the viziers whisper. And you're trying not to pass out in the heat while wearing a 5-pound gold collar. Welcome to Egypt's royal family, the original reality show where every mistake gets carved in stone. By the time you're old enough to walk, your destiny's already written. One day, you'll rule millions of people, build monuments, and probably die young from heat stroke or palace intrigue. So yes, being a prince of Egypt looked glorious, but it definitely, absolutely sucked. Your first memories? Incense smoke, whispered prayers, and adults arguing about which god should claim your spirit before you even know how to walk. You're wrapped in linen tighter than a museum mummy, because apparently, comfort and status can't coexist. You're raised inside marble walls so polished you can see your reflection cry back at you. The priests visit daily to purify you with oil and chants, while your nursemaids remind you that your bodily functions are sacred signs. Spoiler, they're not. Everyone around you treats you like a porcelain relic. You can't run. You can't sweat. You can't even laugh too loud because it's undignified. Childhood joy? Deleted. When you look out the palace window, you see workers hauling stone under the blazing sun. You think, I'll never have to do that. Ha! Give it 10 years. At meals, you're fed delicacies that taste like perfume. Honeyed figs, roasted duck, beer thicker than porridge, but you can't enjoy any of it because it's all a ceremony. You're not eating, you're representing prosperity. Your toys? Miniature statues of gods and chariots you're not allowed to actually roll around. Your playmates? The children of nobles who pretend to like you because their parents told them to. And behind every gift, every smile, there's a political calculation. You're not just a child. You're a potential threat, a bargaining chip, a future king whose existence rearranges court alliances. Sometimes you overhear whispers about your older brother, the favorite, the one the priests say was born under a luckier star. You start to realize even princes can feel unwanted. And when your father, the pharaoh, finally visits, he doesn't hold you. He inspects you. Because in Egypt, love is a luxury, legacy is survival. School for a prince of Egypt isn't about learning, it's about enduring. Your tutors don't teach with gentle words, they teach with silence that could crack stone. You spend hours learning how to write in hieroglyphs, which, by the way, is like trying to draw emojis with a toothpick dipped in ink. Your handwriting? Criticized. Your posture? Judged. Your divine aura? Needs improvement. You study religion, politics, astronomy, and math. But mostly, you learn how to lie with a smile. Diplomacy is just polite deceit. Every morning, priests remind you that your heartbeat belongs to Ra. Every afternoon, generals remind you that your life belongs to Egypt. And every night, your mother reminds you that your reputation belongs to the family. Guess what's left for you? Nothing. Oh, and let's not forget military training. You'll spend weeks learning how to command soldiers you're never allowed to fight beside. The goal isn't to become strong, it's to look heroic for the murals. You learn to stand perfectly still for hours while scribes record your wisdom. You learn to smile at diplomats who'd stab you if it earned them a promotion. You learn to pray to gods you're not sure exist because doubt isn't royal. And if you fail a lesson, the tutor doesn't shout, he just quietly reminds you that the last unworthy prince was erased from history. Your education isn't about preparing for life. It's about surviving expectation. Because in Egypt, power isn't inherited, it's performed. You don't become a prince by blood. You stay one by pretending you already are a god. One day, the palace goes silent. Your father falls ill, and suddenly, everyone in court starts acting friendlier. Too friendly. Your tutors flatter you. The priests hover. The nobles bring gifts not for you, but for whoever they think will win the throne. Welcome to your first taste of politics Egyptian edition. You're forced to attend rituals you don't understand, smile beside statues, and make decisions that might doom entire cities. And the best part? Everyone tells you it's good practice. Meanwhile, the royal advisors are holding meetings you're too young to attend. You're the heir, but you're also a liability, a symbol they can control, as long as you keep quiet. Then, one day, they hand you a ceremonial dagger. You're told to perform your first royal duty, a symbolic sacrifice. You hesitate. They call it weakness. You realize too late, mercy isn't royal, it's dangerous. Your hesitation earns you enemies you'll never see coming. And the court gossip spreads faster than sand in a storm. The prince is soft. Is the prince doubts the gods? If the prince might not be chosen. Suddenly, your life becomes a performance review. Every prayer, every gesture, every smile, graded by priests, spies, and statues alike. The next morning, your father miraculously recovers. The gods are merciful, they say, but his eyes tell a different story. He saw your hesitation. He knows you flinched. From that day on, he doesn't call you son. He calls you successor, which is just a polite way of saying you're on probation. Fast forward a few years. Your father's gone, and you finally wear the royal crown. Congratulations, you've just inherited absolute power and zero freedom. The throne room smells of incense and paranoia. Every official bows, but half of them secretly want your job. You can't sneeze without a dozen priests debating what it means. You're expected to command armies, fund temples, and oversee crops, all while pretending you sleep well. Spoiler, you don't. Your friends? Gone. You can't have real ones. Your siblings? Rivals. Your servants? Spies. And your queen? She's technically your half-sister, because royal blood must stay pure. Family dinners are complicated. You age fast. Stress carves hieroglyphs into your face. You spend nights staring at your reflection in polished bronze, wondering whether the gods are laughing or just bored. You commission monuments to prove you existed, because legacy is the only afterlife you can control. But every stone you raise is built on the backs of thousands. You tell yourself it's destiny, not cruelty. That's how you sleep. Barely. And then the droughts come. The Nile runs low, crops fail, and suddenly everyone blames you. The divine son of Ra can't even make it rain. The priests panic. The people riot. Your name, once sung in temples, becomes a whisper of disappointment. Being royal meant being untouchable. Now, you realize it just means you're the last one to know when the knife is coming. The older you get, the heavier the gold feels. Every crown, every amulet, every title, all of it's just gilded weight. You've outlived your rivals, but not your regrets. The palace that once sparkled now echoes like a tomb. You start to wonder if the gods ever cared, or if they were just as trapped in their own rituals as you were. You visit the workers building your tomb, your eternal house. They bow. You nod. It's quiet. Peaceful, almost. Then you realize they've been carving your name wrong. Not an accident, a message. Even in death, you're not safe. One bad ruler, one unlucky drought, and your legacy gets chiseled out of existence. You think about your childhood, the nurse who whispered lullabies, the friend who vanished after saying the wrong thing, the brother who was erased from records. You understand now, power isn't glory, it's loneliness wrapped in gold. When the end comes, it's not dramatic, just a slow fading of breath under linen sheets. The priests recite words you heard your entire life, promising you eternity. But eternity, you suspect, is just another performance. Centuries later, archaeologists will find your tomb. They'll marvel at your treasures, debate your achievements, and argue whether you were a good ruler. None of them will mention the boy who wanted to play in the sand. And that's the punchline, isn't it? You spent your whole life chasing immortality and ended up a museum exhibit behind glass. Being a prince of Egypt wasn't about living forever. It was about learning that even gods get forgotten. Now, you're not born royal. You're born under surveillance. In Egypt, power wasn't inherited. It was performed. Legacy is just what's left when nobody remembers who you were. Gold doesn't protect you. It just makes your tomb heavier. Even gods get forgotten.